Hey, comic book fans! Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Users. I'm Wildville, your host, and sitting right next to me over here.
Pete Pardo here. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Inside the Cover. Today, we're going to take a quick look at one that I just picked up recently, and Bill and I were just chatting about this before we started recording. This is actually a pretty significant issue for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's from 1964. That's pretty significant.
And
Number two,
it's issue number, what, 8?
Issue number 8 of Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos.
Now, is that monthly or bi-monthly at this point?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Probably monthly.
Probably monthly, I would guess. I mean, they cranked out a lot of these. Just wait till you meet the newest howler of all in this big thrill-packed issue, right? So for everybody watching, yes, Sergeant Fury is Nick Fury. This is in World War II with the Howling Commandos fighting the Germans. So this is before he becomes a colonel in S.H.I.E.L.D., right? So
and he doesn't have his eye patch here, I'm guessing?
He does not.
Okay.
He does not. But is he chomping on cigars? Yes, he is. Is he still grizzled and potty mouthed and, a big wisecracking son of a bitch? Yes, he is. But here he's got, Dum Dum Dugan and all the other guys in the Howling Commandos battling against the Third Reich. So this is basically, about 20 years before we would see him regularly in S.H.I.E.L.D. So he's got to be, in his, 20s here?
Okay.
I think. I mean,
because it takes place in the 40s?
Yeah, so I've always had issues with what they do with Nick Fury and how old he is. You never really can tell, because he fought in World War II, but then he looks younger in S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
when he's Colonel Fury. They just gave him a little white streak on the side.
A little white streak on the side, but he's thinner. But he's still the same guy. So what's interesting about this issue, again, and the main reason why I wanted to show this, so here it says the death ray of Dr. Zemo, who is up here, right?
Baron Zemo?
That is Baron Zemo. Technically, all right, well, not technically, but this is, for lack of a better term, basically the origin of Baron Zemo as Dr. Zemo working for the Nazis. So he actually, though, he appeared in issue number 6 of the Avengers right before this came out. So it's interesting how they had him debut as Baron Zemo, putting together the Masters of Evil to fight the Avengers in number 6. And then they published this, which takes the character and shows how he became the evil Dr. Zemo in World War II, going up against Sergeant Fury and company, right?
You mean the Doctor becomes the evil Baron?
Exactly, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So very, very cool. And it's so after I started reading this, and I was like, wow, you would think that this would be really expensive. I didn't pay a ton of money for this. I mean, this was
now that you're telling everybody it is,
everybody's going to be going out to exactly right now. Everybody's like, yes, that's the one.
For everybody else.
So of course, this is a Jack Kirby cover, a great one, because he worked on some of the early issues here, did a lot of the covers, but then stopped doing the interiors because he was working on a million other things. But here we've got, and I'm going to be very careful with this, guys, because this is kind of old. Stanley did the story. Dick Ayers did the art. Inks by Geo Bell, and Sam Rosen did the lettering. So I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this one. I more wanted to kind of talk about it and show you a little bit, because we really haven't done much of anything on war comics. So it's again,
because we don't have any.
We have very few. I mean, I bought 4 of these recently. So, but it's very much stereotypical. If you've ever watched military movies from the 50s and 60s, right? It's all lots of stereotypes and the way people talk and all that. This is full of it. I mean, totally full of it. There's this scene where they take into their company, into the commandos, a British officer, and they're totally busting on him, and it just, as Americans would do, right? So here, you can see how they've captured some of the Germans, and the funniest thing is when they do the dialogue of the German characters.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. It is so... I'm going to read some of it. It's just so bad. But it's funny because Nick Fury is not in this issue all that much. He's here. That's him, by the way. So as Bill mentioned, he does not have his eye patch. He's always got the 24-hour, shadow going on, and Dum Dum Dugan's here and everything. I do want to show this because there actually is the issue of the Avengers that I'm talking about. Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil, and then you got an early X-Men with going against Prince Namor the Submariner on the front, so pretty notable for that. But here, all right, do we have some dialogue? Achtung, prepare to fire torpedoes, schnell. Himmel, what are they doing? Down, take her down. What else? I mean, it's all over the place.
The U-boat command.
It will take a few more minutes to prepare their gun for firing. You dumbcoffs, they are getting away.
That sounds like Arnold.
I know, exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like. So so here, lots of action. They're trying to get the submarine. They crash into the submarine. They throw, and of course, the Americans always win every battle, right? There's no losing to the Germans here. Throwing the hand grenades here. This one guy kind of sacrifices himself, and they have to get him to safety, right? So, but lots of action if you like war comics. So, and pretty good artwork. Oh, Dum Dugan's looking pretty scary down there, right?
He's had a few. Yeah. He looks angry.
He does look angry. We're used to Dum.
He's had a couple of pints.
So again, this is all about the commandos went out on one mission. They came back successful. They rescued a whole other unit, captured a bunch of Germans, and then as soon as they come back, they're trying to relax a little bit, and then the commanding officer says, "Don't relax, because you got to go back into enemy territory across the German lines. We have another mission for you." And they're all like, "Oh," but they got the British guy in their team now, so they take him with them. And here is where they come into contact with Dr. Zemo. Of course, they go to a castle, right, which looks just like Dr. Doom's castle right there, pretty notorious looking. And here is where they come into contact with, and again, lots of action going on here, because of course they infiltrate the castle and start attacking the Nazis. And then of course there is the Dr. Zemo, and he's got Bill really like this. Look at that.
Spider-Man,
2 classic issues, right?
Spider-Man 15, first right. Kraven the Hunter.
First Kraven the Hunter, and first issue with the Watcher on the left-hand side. Fantastic Four. So here is Dr. Zemo with his death ray, which basically just looks like a regular gun that shoots a ray. So here, of course, the Germans, the Third Reich, has big plans to utilize his death ray to overtake the Allies, and eventually they wind up... he gets away, obviously. Dr. Zemo gets away, because if they would have captured him, we would have never had Baron Zemo. So that's the whole thing at the end. They go through this whole battle. They try to get him, and they don't. He winds up getting away.
He gives them the slip.
And that's kind of the end of the issue there. But pretty cool stuff. And then look on the back. Remember this? Looks like Abe Vigoda, right?
It's supposed to be Norman Rockwell.
I know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's looking for people who like to draw. So, cool issue. This, like I said, the war stuff is definitely a product of its time. Like when I was reading this last night for the first time, I was like, man, you could totally tell this between the dialogue and everything that goes on. It, the whole, again, it's the whole like kind of Cold War propaganda and all that kind of stuff. It's very pro-American and everything like that, understandably, because it's 1964, but still fun because we know all these characters, and I read some of these when I was a kid. I never held on to any of them, but it's kind of cool to get a few back and go through it. But notable for Dr. Zemo, otherwise known as Baron Zemo,
who was a menace to the Avengers.
Oh, big time, yeah, big time. So this one barely fits in here. I'll do that off camera. Anyway, so thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Cover.
This issue.
Yeah, this issue. So again, it's
know what we mean, damn
Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, issue number 8, really early in the run. Cool Jack Kirby cover. So Bill, you want to take us out of this?
Yes. We thank you for being here as always. Please click the like button if you haven't done so already. That'll help support comic book users in a big way.
Yes,
appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your comments and your subscriptions and your support. And if you like comics as much as we do, then come on back for more episodes of Comic Book Users. I'm Wild Bill, and saying thanks for being here. And for Pete, we'll see you next time.
That's right. Have a good one, everybody. In my comic shop, that's the way you guys got to do it on all the ones. Not on the front. Put it on the back. Anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm just saying. It just makes so much more sense, right? I know it's harder for you guys to go in the racks to find them, but for us, the consumer, not having to deal with taking off a sticker and turning things around, and if it's on the back, this is great because now we can always save it, and all the information is right here. Because half the time I just want to rip these things off because they cover the cover, and I hate that. So anyway.
It ruins the eye
rant
candy.
Done for the day. So
right on the money.
That's right. So for all of you who have been asking for war comics, there's one for you. Maybe we'll bring you some more in the weeks to come. So let us know what you think. And for Wild Bill, I'm Pete. And have a good one, everybody. See you real soon here on the channel. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.